Hey, hey, what's going on? We are live, Alabama postgame. Alabama escaping Ole Miss,
Everybody,
63-48.
everybody just
A big, yeah.
it's over.
Wow.
It's over,
Matty
everybody.
Ice, Matt Scalisi, Lauren Sisler here to break down the game. Oh my, what a
Oh my.
track meet. I mean, I literally was like, okay. I mean, it was like play after play after play after play, and on both sides of the football. I mean, the I mean, it was the intensity of it all. I mean, it was so. I don't know about you, Matt, but that was one of the more entertaining games I've watched in a long time.
I would say that I would bet you most of the people in the comments right now do not agree with your assessment of it. I think that for people who are objective on the outside, it was a very entertaining game. If you were rooting for a team that was a part of it, it probably was one of the most stressful things you've ever been a part of. And honestly, mostly for Alabama fans, because I think Ole Miss fans went into this season saying, I mean, it's our first year with a new coach. What do we have to lose? You know?
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's how Lane Kiffin coached this game. He coached like he had nothing to lose. He took risks. He was extremely bold. He was confident in his players. And he played like he had no reason to hold back anything. And he didn't, you know? And I will get into that later. But I do think that that's a little bit a part of what happened tonight, was that you had a team that was the number 2 team in the country that came into this game probably a little tight and saying, hey, we have to stay ahead. We cannot lose this game. This would ruin our whole season. And the other team is in here going like, I don't care if we lose. Let's go. I'll do this all day long.
yeah. They were having a field day. I mean, I'm reading through these comments right
I'm
now.
sure. I'm sure.
Amy Boozer says, I need oxygen and blood pressure pills. Oh man, you guys are killing me. I love it, guys. I know. Well, look, Matt, I'm on the outside looking in. I'm an unbiased one over here. I always have to remind people when I wear red, it's not crimson, it's scarlet, right? For my
Rutgers.
Scarlet Knights.
That's right.
Rutgers not even playing football right now, folks. That's a win in our column tonight. So I think okay, we'll start with this. Now that we've taken a deep breath, maybe taking those blood pressure pills, what should Alabama fans feel good about? And I'll just start right off the top. Like Najee Harris, like came to play. Look, he becomes the first Alabama player since Trent Richardson in 2011. First Ole Miss with 5 rushing touchdowns, and what a day! And I mean, you got to look at that: 206 total rushing yards. Najee for Heisman. Hello.
I think there were multiple candidates in this game. I do think
I have to say though,
that
I do have to say though, there late. It was in the fourth quarter, maybe it was third quarter when Najee did the little flip over with like the cartwheel. I was like, ooh, a little gymnastics move there. That was pretty
that's
sweet.
right. Yeah, I mean, look, Najee had a spectacular game, 206 yards, 5 touchdowns on 23 carries. So it's not like they were just depending on him the whole night. He made the most of his chances, and I think especially down the stretch when Alabama, when they finally saw a little bit of daylight, and we had a situation where Ole Miss kind of killed their own drive. Not to take anything away from Alabama. But, look, Alabama could not stop Ole Miss all night. It felt like they were just waiting for Ole Miss to make a mistake. And they did.
Yeah.
And Alabama could have just gone back out on the field and said, look, we've been throwing all over them all night long. Let's just keep doing that. And they didn't. They trusted Najee to both move the ball down the field to take the advantage they would need to finally put Ole Miss away, but also to kill the clock. And that really – the second to last touchdown drive showed a ton of confidence, I think, by Nick Saban and Steve Sarkisian in Najee to salt the game away and really seal the win for Alabama. That final touchdown by Najee was kind of icing on the cake. It really kind of felt like the game was over already. But I think that even though Alabama does not win this game without an incredible performance from Mac Jones, I think also equally Najee gave Alabama the sort of last tool that they needed to put this game away. And that is a crucial component of a championship offense, is you got to be able to do it both when you're called upon. And I think this Alabama offense overall, Lauren, showed incredible balance tonight. They did everything. They threw the ball all over the field, distributed it incredibly efficiently.
Yeah.
Mac Jones was 28 of 32, only had 4 incompletions all night, 417 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones is also an award candidate, if possibly a Heisman candidate for this team. But right now, Najee put up pretty incredible numbers, and I think these numbers will pad his stats for the rest of the season. I don't think you're going to see numbers like this again for the rest of the season, because Ole Miss's defense is particularly bad. But also, the Alabama offense had to do this to win this game. They were called upon to continue scoring. And I think it was a pressure situation for them, and they came through.
Yeah, no doubt. And I was pulling up Najee's stats from I guess this season. So basically, let's see, in the opener against Missouri at 98 yards last week, he had 43, and then the big jump to 206 yards. I mean, pretty impressive stuff. And hey, let's not forget our boy Brian Robinson. I saw
great
the tweet
performance
that you put out.
too.
Yeah, great performance by Brian Robinson. He was 10. He had 10 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah. And that's our boy that we highlighted and featured in one of our Tide and Tigers, I guess, recruiting videos when the guys committed. And I remember going to Archibald's with him. And would you say he downed 36 wings in a matter of like 2 seconds?
We watched him, Lauren. You and I watched him eat 36 chicken wings at Archibald's.
Yeah, but it's all in the special sauce. Remember, that's what he said to me. He's like, it's a special sauce. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And then I tasted that stuff and I was like, oh, this is really special. But Brian Robinson is a special guy. Obviously, Najee Harris, tremendous across the board. So unfortunately, Alabama fans, you might need to get that blood pressure medicine back out, because we're gonna hit on the bad, and we're stating the obvious. I know. First of all, I think the one thing that's obviously a total bummer, we saw at the end of the game, Jordan Battle getting called for targeting. He'll miss the first half of the Georgia game. That's not good, of course. But defensively, man, this Alabama team just got gashed. I mean, I literally, again, I say it was an entertaining football game because it was just one thing after another and play after play. And I mean, just the performance that Ole Miss was able to put up. And again, I think it sort of was the mindset going into it. Lane Kiffin was kind of gloating a little bit on Alabama being the best team in the country and putting that out there. But, Mike McCoy,
who knew he was going to do this?
Mike McCoy even said it earlier this week. We do our head-to-head videos with him, former Alabama receiver. And he's like, man, that is the most, like, the tactic that every coach uses. He says that's so Lane Kiffin. For him to use that tactic to kind of like just, bump up Alabama, kind of, put them up there. And then, Lane Kiffin just went into this, like, we got this. So, I mean, obviously 63-48, Ole Miss had several chances, but again, came up short. Obviously, Alabama prevails. So just your thoughts overall on the defense and what you saw, Matt.
Well, look, it's not good. You don't want to ever see your team give up 48 points in a game. And in particular, even when Ole Miss didn't score, they still moved the ball very easily down the field. They were 4 for 4 on fourth down. They were 9 of 17 on third down. This was a team, 647 total yards, which as Patrick put on the screen earlier, our producer, that's the most ever given up in a game by an Alabama defense. So not a distinction you want to have if you're an Alabama defensive player. I think overall, though, what was stunning about it was, again, just like what Alabama did offensively, Ole Miss, this was not a particular weakness that they just kept picking on all night, right? That like Alabama couldn't figure it out. They did a lot of things. They were diverse in their offense. They spread the ball around. They found a lot of different ways to attack Alabama's defense. I think probably the one that sticks out the most is just the pace. They played so fast that Alabama was on their heels.
What am I watching right now? But in
Yeah.
some ways, it almost like it just almost seemed like it was going to be the never-ending game too. It was like so fast, but it was so back and forth that I'm like, is this game ever going to end? Like it was
I
wildly crazy.
it's reminiscent of what we used to see from Gus Malzahn's offenses in, the early part of his days at Auburn. But I don't know, man. To me, this felt faster than that. This felt more fast-paced than that even. And I think, look, ultimately, Ole Miss didn't win the game, right? So this strategy was very good, and it kept them in the game with a team that has a lot more talent than them for almost the entire game. Ultimately, they couldn't pull it off because when you play this many snaps, you are sort of daring the math of it all that you're not going to make a mistake at some point. The more plays you play in a game, the higher your odds are of making a crucial mistake in the game. And that is ultimately what lost Ole Miss this game was, they had to keep running plays because that was the style they chose. And they got down, in position to score again, just like they've been doing all game long. One negative play leads to a second negative play, and then there you are. It's all derailed. So I think this is a style of offense that Alabama does not like to play against, but they did win the game, and it's because they sort of I think they knew if we can just slow them down enough and hang around long enough, they're going to make a mistake, and we're going to be able to capitalize on it. That's me trying to put as positive a spin on this defensive performance as I possibly can for you Alabama fans.
There you go, Alabama fans.
Ultimately, they did win. They had confidence in their offense, and they were correct to have that confidence. I think the question is, looking at what happened and looking at how it really felt like Ole Miss could do almost anything they wanted, is there any other team on the schedule that has similar personnel and a similar offensive style to what Ole Miss used against Alabama tonight? Because if they do, and they don't have the worst defense in the SEC, that's a problem for Alabama. So I think that this game film is going to keep the Alabama coaching staff up late every night this week.
Yeah, no doubt about it, especially because next up, Georgia at Alabama. We see the time there, 7:00 Central Time on CBS. So that of course is going to give their hands are going to be full, and I think that things are going to change quite a bit on the defensive side of the football when they welcome Georgia to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and so we're going to probably see a much different look next week. But certainly a lot of great things to build on, a great matchup, and lastly, what are your thoughts on Kiffin? Lane Kiffin just, he's always throwing some cork in there. But did you see the masks? He wore two different masks during the football game. The first one saying Manning 1018, honoring, of course, the Ole Miss quarterback Eli Manning and his older brother Peyton, who had that collegiate career at Tennessee. And then I guess in the second half he switched it up to DJ Metcalf, or DK Metcalf, I should say. But
he might have been honoring Archie Manning as well. Yeah, no, I mean, here's my thoughts about Lane Kiffin so far this season, because I think what happened tonight against Alabama is obviously a big step up for them. They haven't run crazy on everybody like they did tonight, but I think that Lane Kiffin probably has been working on his game plan for tonight for a very long time, since he got that job. I think this was a big one for him. He knew this was going to be an opportunity to make a huge statement. And even in a loss, I think he did make a huge statement. I think he's going to show this game and this score to recruits, even if it's a loss for Ole Miss. He's going to say, look, we're one or two players away from being able to compete with Alabama and win games against Alabama. So this is I think a scenario where Lane Kiffin kind of had a combination of, he's a great offensive mind. We already knew that. We saw what he did at Alabama. And he walked into, frankly, a situation at Ole Miss where Matt Luke, even though he got fired, had recruited pretty well and left Lane Kiffin some really good talent on the offensive side. So if Lane can continue that in years to come and can continue to recruit really well on the offensive side, and I don't see why he wouldn't, this is going to be unfortunately for everyone watching, an annual occurrence for Alabama fans. I think this is going to be a thorn in Saban's side as long as Lane Kiffin is here. And if he's able to turn this into larger success, might be kind of making a case for possibly getting a job in Tuscaloosa once Nick Saban's tenure comes to an end. Who knows?
Ooh, I think you just projected a bold prediction for down the road.
We'll see. I don't know.
Little bold prediction, little hot take, maybe.
I mean, look, if I was hiring a coach right now, and I've got an incredible amount of offensive talent on my roster, I don't really see a lot of better options than Lane Kiffin right now.
Yeah. I mean, that was a fun one to watch. I'm not going to hold those emotions back. I really enjoyed watching that. I know Alabama fans said it was a little bit breathtaking.
That was your birthday treat, Lauren. And we're all here to celebrate the birthday of our favorite DJ Sisler.
Oh. I love it.
We pulled this out just for you, Lauren.
Hey,
Happy birthday.
I appreciate it. And I'm sporting, y'all got to see this. I'm sporting the members only jacket, right? So, I'm an 80s gal.
That's right.
In the 80s, so members only. That's my jam. So I appreciate y'all so very much. We appreciate you guys watching, staying up late with us, enjoying some good college football, all sorts of weird stuff going on in the SEC today.
Very weird day.
Texas A&M getting the win today. Missouri getting the win over LSU. Texas A&M beating Florida. I mean, yeah.
The Arkansas-Auburn game was crazy. Yeah.
Arkansas-Auburn. So we'll have a lot to talk about and doing a little bit of a shuffle here throughout the SEC. So it's been fun. It's been real. Matt, thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you for giving me a chance to do a little shimmy. And we'll hit you back here soon. So everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you next week here on